Hey guys, what is good? Shop at Peoria'sFamilyBakery.com. This is my favorite brand, the pizza. It is so delicious. We made it a couple weeks ago. We're going to make it again. Use promo code, discount code ScottsTakes20 at checkout. I'm giving you guys 20% off. This is the best title sponsor Scott's Takes has ever had, so support them and buy your flatbread pita naan today. Now I am pleased to welcome former colleague Josh Morin to the Scott's Takes podcast series. Josh, what is good, my man? It's so good to see you.
Scotty, Lawless Scott, good to see you, brother. It's been a while.
Let me show this to all the LEM folks watching on this Thursday. Lawless, I still have this shirt from back like in 2007. These were one of the best times of my life, the Lawless days of LEM, the mean streets of West 6.
From what we can remember, we've got good memories.
Fantastic memories. Those were fun days. So why don't you kind of like talk about, I mean, your career, you've been in and out of the sports biz the last, 15, 20 years. Talk about it. You kind of gone full circle back with the Peoria Rivermen now, and just to see what you've been doing the last 15 years.
Well, Scott, I appreciate you having me on, man. It's an honor, and you're right. It's funny how life works. Yeah, back in 2000, I was an aspiring sports broadcaster and wanted to be the next guy on ESPN, and I moved to Peoria with my ex-wife, and we actually attended the 2000 Kelly Cup final, in which the Rivermen won the Kelly Cup, and I was coming out of the bathroom, and I literally bumped into the president's kid, and I spilled his popcorn all over the place. And back then, the president's name was John Butler, and we got talking, and he said, "Hey, if you'd ever like a job, call me when the season's done." And little did we know the season would be over that night. The Rivermen would be celebrating a Kelly Cup, and anyway, I called him a few days later, and soon signed on to be the director of group sales with the Rivermen, and that was back in 2000, and that kind of kick-started my career in hockey and in sports marketing and the sports industry. And did that for a few years. Then I moved off to California, where I worked for the Sacramento River Cats. At that time, they were the AAA affiliate of the Oakland A's. Sold some corporate sales there, some luxury suites. And then I had the distinct pleasure of moving to Cleveland. And I worked with Scott and some other esteemed colleagues. And we kind of launched the Lake Erie Monsters. And I believe they're now called the Cleveland Monsters. But being a part of that launch was fantastic. That was one of the highlights of my life, and in many different ways. Then I moved back to Peoria. My dream was to always run a team. And when the local owner in Peoria sold the Rivermen to the St. Louis Blues, the Blues called me and said, "Would you ever like to come back and help us run this team?" I jumped at that. I hated leaving Cleveland and all my friends, but my career goal was to run a team. And so I came back to Peoria in 2008 and ran the team for a couple of years and had a blast in the AHL. Then I did a stint with the local Peoria Chiefs. They're the single A affiliate of the Cardinals, and I did 1 year there. And then my wife got pregnant, and I kind of wanted to take a step back and be a present father and watch my daughter grow up. And I did that for the last 8 years. And then now, sports always pulls you back, Scott. It's just, if you love it the way you and I love it, it's just going to happen. So, back in March, the Rivermen owner called me, and we started talking, and yeah, so I've been back with the clubs, whatever this is, 6-7 months now.
Fantastic story.
Thank you, buddy.
Being back in sports, that's so great to hear. When I noticed that actually just a couple of weeks ago, we haven't talked in a couple of years. So what do you think has changed? Like, I mean, you started with the River Cats way back. 15 plus years ago. Like, what has changed in the sports multimedia landscape to like post-COVID right now?
In one word, everything. When you and I were slinging tickets in Cleveland and even before that, there really wasn't the internet market. It was people buying directly from sales reps, and that was it. Now, and I have a perfect example for you. We just got a call about 4 weeks ago from a broker in California.
Mm.
And, you know, this is right now the Rivermen are in the SPHL, the Southern Professional Hockey League, which is single A level. So these guys are making $500 a week.
Mm-hmm.
Guys are, they're trying to climb the ladder. But anyway, so for a broker to call us, and
Wow.
he ended up buying 10 season tickets. But like you said, 10, 15, 20 years ago, that would never have ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
The whole internet and the third party world and the whole brokerage world has really changed. I mean, from the national, the major league level, all the way through the minor league level, as we're seeing now.
That is for sure. And a great point on ticketing that you'd be surprised. I mean, obviously with the expertise of the secondary over the last 3 years of having ticket brokers invest in minor league properties is amazing. So you will get those calls.
Yeah.
Some of those brokers will find those under the radar type of deals like, oh, you know what? I can make money on XYZ games, the Friday, Saturday, big promotions when everyone else is asleep at the wheel.
Yep.
You're not doing so. So that's why that broker in California probably called you. So very interesting to say that. What would you see the value proposition is to sell a sponsorship in 2021 in sports these days?
Question, Scott. Right now, it's all about a relationship sell. And I've been in sports on and off for 20 plus years, and I firmly believe hockey, any minor league sport or any sport in general, is obviously it's a great spectator sport if you're in the building, if you're in the arena. But once you have those bodies and seats, those butts and seats, advertisers, they have a captive audience. And whether it's at the professional level or the minor league level, it doesn't matter. Once you have those people captured in the building, you have their attention for 2 to 3 hours a night, a day, whatever it is. And that's still, it's even with COVID, it still rings true. I mean, we just had our opening weekend last weekend, and we were over 3,000 both games, and which our average pre-COVID was just a little over 4. So we're very happy with, the people who came out to those games and the number. So yeah, COVID has affected the sponsorship world, but really not to the extent that I thought it would, which I'm grateful for. But at the same time, with sponsorships in sports, you're able to offer and package so much. You're able to offer the opportunity for businesses to entertain their clients, to reward their employees. They're also able to gain that branding and that traffic driving things that they're looking for because they want to grow their business. So with sports, you can really create a really nice package that delivers so much for a business. And I'm excited to say that it's continuing as we proceed through this whole COVID year.
Very interesting prospect. And obviously you spent a lot of time at Adams Outdoor, the billboard company, for what, 7?
Yeah, about 7 years.
7 years. How do you think of that process of the billboard, of just anyone seeing a billboard for an ad compared to selling sports sponsorships?
Yeah, I will always be a proponent of outdoor advertising, billboards. But with billboards, you have a message that has to get across in about 6 to 8 seconds.
Right.
Somebody's driving 45 miles down the road, they've got to capture the entire message. Back to my point, when you have somebody with a button seat at a hockey game or a baseball game, they're sitting there for a few hours, so they have a lot more time to absorb the message, which makes me happy. That's what I try to sell. Hey, you know what? You're going to have a captive audience that is, and I think it may be just hockey fans, but I think it's sports fans in general. If there's a company supporting the team that you love and you follow, you're more apt to support that company or business. It's just that love, that affection. Hey, if that company is representing and sponsoring, and they're putting their back behind this team, you know what? I'm gonna go use their store. I'm gonna go to their business or whatever it is. So with billboards, yeah, it's a great media, and I fully believe in it. But I love sports a little bit more, and it's far more cheaper.
It's far more cheap and a lot more
Affordable.
and I'm sure I'm doing that. And really, the last sponsorship question, then I'll ask you one more and we'll let you move on with your day. Like, obviously 2021 digital with all the digital marketing between Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. How much does that go into your sponsorship activation with your current partners in Peoria right now?
Great question. I would say I brought on about 40 new clients to the Rivermen this past summer, and I would say 30 of them demanded that there be some kind of social media promotion included in their package. So yeah, being present and finding new customers through the internet and through all the different social media avenues was very important to my clients and my prospects. And if I didn't include it, I probably would have lost half of those. So yeah, the fact that we can offer and drive new clients and customers for our businesses through Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is, it just opens up a whole new avenue of revenue for sports teams. And it helps with those businesses. I mean, so many people, we spend 3 to 4 hours on our phones and our devices these days. And so that is a place where businesses want to be. They want presence. They want help driving traffic and bringing people into their businesses. So that was very important to include in all of our sponsorship packages.
Fabulous. And one last question before I let you go, and I'll let you plug whatever you want to plug. If you can have a crown and ginger ale with any hockey player, who would that be?
Love it. I love it. I don't know if you know the name, but Ryan Reeves is my favorite former Peoria Rivermen player.
Yes.
And he's a tough guy, but he's a fourth liner who can drop the mitts, but he also can score. He can bang and loves to hit. And, so he also likes to enjoy himself off the ice. So yeah, he played in Peoria, and then he got to start with the Blues, and then he went to Las Vegas Golden Knights, and now he's in New York with the Rangers. So he'd probably be at the top of my list. And then
I thought you were going to say Dale Puritan of the 2007.
You just dropped a name from the past.
Wow. But Josh, thank you so much for having on. You want to plug Peoria Rivermen tickets? Go ahead right now, whatever you want to plug before we let you go.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Scott. I really do appreciate you having me on. Obviously, the Rivermen are in their 40th anniversary of minor league hockey in Peoria. So, Scott, interesting tidbit here.
Yeah.
The city of Peoria and the Rivermen are the 5th longest consecutive minor league hockey team in the country. So we've been playing 40 years straight without any interruptions. We don't count COVID because everybody was out. But we are excited to kickstart our 40th anniversary this fall. And you're going to see some great players that are going to eventually go up to the AAA level. And you might find 1 or 2 make the NHL. So, yeah, if you're local and you're listening to this, please come out and support the Rivermen. You can find tickets at rivermen.net.
Rivermen.net, all my base in Champaign, Illinois. Make that 90-minute drive to Peoria. Check out the Rivermen. Go see Josh. Have a crown and ginger ale with him in downtown Peoria somewhere. And you can say my tagline before we let you go.
Lean and clean, baby.
Keep it lean and clean. Thanks, Josh.
Hey, thanks for having me on, buddy.
Perfect.